All right, morning, guys.
Morning.
So all week we've been talking about what in science?
Adaptations.
Adaptations, right. You guys have been studying several different types of adaptations, right?
Yes.
Now we've been focusing on 4 in particular. In a show of hands, who can tell me one of those 4? Carter, what's one of them? Camouflage is one of them. Aubrey, what's another one? Mimicry is another big one. Kyle, I think I saw your hand go up. What was one you got for me? Oh, sure I said it? Gillian, you got one for me? We say camouflage and mimicry. Forgot what it's called? You want to help her out? Camila, help him out. Hibernation. And there's one more. Yes, Josiah. Migration. All right. So, not all animals use the same adaptations. A lot of animals have different types of adaptations. So today I brought a book called Alligators and Crocodiles by one of my personal favorite authors, Mrs. Gail Gibbons. Now, what's cool about Mrs. Gail Gibbons is she writes and illustrates all of her books. Now, just looking at this book, I'm just going to open it real fast. You have a question? You have an adaptation? What is it? Hibernation, that's right, that is one of them. All right, so just flipping through and looking at this book, does this look like a fiction or maybe like a non-fiction?
Fiction. Non-fiction.
Who said non-fiction? Aubrey, why would you say this is a non-fiction book? Right, little captions. We've got labels from the photographs. Look, I'm going to go ahead and flip to the last page. What do you guys see here?
All the pages.
Yeah, facts about alligators. Facts, that's right.
It's about to go off.
No, it's not. It's fine, Eric. Eric, if you could pay attention here for me. All right, so we're going to read this book, and as we go along, we're going to fill this in. But first off, I want to find out what you guys know about adaptations. So you have already said something great. You listed 4, right?
Yeah.
We've got migration.
Hibernation.
Hibernation. Mimicry. And camouflage, right? Now, thinking outside of these 4, remember an adaptation is anything that can help an animal survive and live better in its environment. So we're going to be looking not just at the animal, but its environment. So before we get started reading about alligators and crocodiles, what are a couple things you guys do know about alligators and crocodiles? Yes, Josiah? Ooh, tell you what, we're actually going to work on what we wonder. So let's put your question. You said if they look like if alligators look like crocodiles? Yeah. So I'm going to write, do alligators, I'm just going to abbreviate by putting an A like that, because we know that means alligator, right? Do alligators look like crocodiles? Now I'm going to put a C like that, so that way we can abbreviate it. We all know what we're talking about. Now what's something we do know about alligators and crocodiles? Yes? Alligators are reptiles. That's really important, right? Alligators are reptiles. Who else has got a good alligator or crocodile fact for me? Yes, Gavin?
Alligators have lungs.
They have lungs. That is important. Because reptiles have lungs, right? Alligators have lungs. All right, who's got another one for me? Yes, Aubrey? They have short teeth. Ooh, that's a really good adaptation, isn't it? Alligators and crocodiles have sharp teeth. And let's get one more fact. Alex, I saw your hand go up earlier.
Alligators can go underwater.
They can go underwater, that's right. So they're good swimmers, right? Go under water. And actually, I saw we got one more. Let's get one more in. Both have claws. That is another good adaptation. So that's a fact about both alligators and crocodiles, right? Now, since we've already got a little bit of stuff we know our types of adaptations, and we know a few things about alligators and crocodiles. Josiah had a really good question, so I went ahead and put it up here. And you know what? I'm actually going to put Josiah's name next to it, so we can come back and make sure we answer this. What's another question? What's something else you guys wonder about alligators or crocodiles? Yes, Carter. Do they eat fish? So do alligators eat fish?
Yes.
And Carter had that one. Jalen, I'm going to let you ask my next question. You sound like you've got a really good one for me. With a K, right, Carter? Yes, Josiah. What's your question?
I wonder if alligators might eat other alligators.
Ooh, that's a good question. If they eat other alligators. We talked about earlier about some animals that do eat their own kind, right? Like if things get really desperate. So do alligators, like spiders, exactly, do alligators eat other alligators? All right, Jalen, I'm going to put your name next to that. Is it an I-N or E-N?
Ian.
E-N, right that?
It's N-A. No, it's Y.
Well, we'll come back to it later. All right, yes.
J.
You what? Guys, shh, let's be respectful. Yes, Gabe, what is something you know? Cold-blooded. Which ones, alligators or crocodiles? Alligators. Alligators are cold-blooded. Now, looking at this, I've got a question. I wonder if that means crocodiles are cold-blooded, so I'm going to write that up there, too. Are crocodiles cold-blooded? Exactly. And I'm going to put my name next to it because that was my question.
What?
All right, what's something else you guys wonder? Yes, Kyla. No. Are we talking to Josiah earlier? Yes. If they can swim deep.
But you see that green one still
And
on. That means
alligators.
still.
And we'll say and crocodiles. It's fine, it's still recording. And Isabella had that question. All right, guys. Let's get two more good questions. Alex, hands down, hands down, hands down.
Crocodiles and alligators are in the world.
How many are in the world? That's a really good question. That's what we call population, right? Friends, I hear a lot of talking between ourselves. Let's make sure we're paying attention. All right, let's get one more really good question. Camila, you've had your hand up.
Do alligators and crocodiles fight?
Ooh, do they fight? So that could even be, do they even live together, right? Do they fight?
Do they both fight? Wait, that's our spelling words.
I know. Eric, what did you just say? What was that?
Fight. We just spell
It's
a
a
word.
spelling word this week, right? Someone put an underline under it. That's a good word. And Isabella, you asked that question, right?
Ask that.
All right, guys, hands down. Now, what I'm going to do is what I'm going to do, guys, focus. What I'm going to do is we're going to read this book. Jalen, if you could focus for me, bud. As you read this book, if you hear an answer to any of these questions, raise your hand, and we're going to go ahead and answer this. But also, if you hear anything that talks about adaptations, we're going to put it over here in what we've learned, right? So if we answer a question, and if we hear anything about adaptations, we're going to raise our hands, and we're going to put it up in this column, all right? Yes, Gavin?
That is the question which you
All right, I'll change that for you. Thank you. Mila, that's how you spell your name, right? I did. All right, guys, let's sit down. All right, so Alligators and Crocodiles by Gail Gibbons. Something glides slowly through the water. Friends. Something glides slowly through the water, barely making a ripple. It is well hidden and looks like a bumpy, drifting log. 2 eyes and a snout and appear above the water. Is it an alligator or is it a crocodile? Do you guys see any adaptations? Yes. Ooh, nice. Do you see any adaptations here, guys? Is it mimicking anything, or is there any sort of camouflage?
Mimicking. Yes.
Yes, Kyle, you raise your hand. Camouflage, right? What was it hiding like? Like a bumpy log, right? So we're going to say alligators, camouflage, to look like a log. All right, that's a good one, guys. All right, let's go to the next page. Alligators and crocodiles are members of a group of reptiles called crocodilians. They are the closest living relatives of dinosaurs and the world's largest reptiles. According to the paleontologists, alligators, crocodiles, and dinosaurs lived on Earth about 230 million years ago. Guys, let's make sure we're paying attention. About 65 million years ago, dinosaurs became extinct, but alligators and crocodiles continued to live. So we got a picture of an alligator, we got a picture of a crocodile, and underneath it says, one second guys, all reptiles are cold-blooded animals. In order to survive, they must keep their body temperature from getting too hot or too cold. They do this by moving to a cooler or warmer place. Yes, Aubrey? 230 million years ago, right? I think I also heard an answer to one of our questions. Let me ask about whether they were cold-blooded.
Yeah. They're all cold.
They're all cold-blooded, right?
That's
So
what you asked.
both are cold-blooded.
Because all reptiles.
You're right. All reptiles are cold-blooded, and they are both what? Reptiles. Yes, Josiah. You're right. You know what? They just had a picture. Camila, thank you. We saw that in the picture, but you know what? We're going to hold off on that because I know that we talked about that later in the book. Hands down, guys. All right. The word crocodile comes from the word crocodilios, which means lizard in Greek. The word alligator comes from alligatro, which means the lizard in Spanish. Greek travelers saw crocodiles for the first time in Egypt, and Spanish soldiers saw alligators for the first time in North America. Did we learn anything about adaptations on that page? No, not really. Where alligators and crocodiles live. There are 2 different kinds of alligators and 14 different kinds of crocodiles. The only area inhabited by both alligators and crocodiles is the southern tip of Florida and the Florida Keys. So we were asking if they live together, right? Didn't we ask a question about that? Where do they live together? Florida, right. Guys, let's make sure we're listening. Alligators and crocodiles usually live in climates where the water and air temperatures are warm all year long. Some alligators live in cooler climates where they must hibernate if it gets too cold. Do we hear anything about adaptations, guys?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What, Josiah?
Where they live?
What did I just say in that last line? Yes. Cooler climates. Yes, Camila.
Hibernate.
Hibernate, right. So what's that last sentence? Some alligators live in cooler climates where they must hibernate. So some alligators hibernate, right? Kaylene, can you do me a favor? Can you slide back to where that B is for me? Yes. Are they what? Are they what? Kin to each other? Kin, like related to each other? Well, we kind of answered that, right? They're both reptiles, right? Yeah, so they are related to each other. All right, let's go to the next page, guys. The difference between an American alligator and an American crocodile. This is what Josiah was pointing out earlier. Let's put our hands out for right now. All right, so we've got on this side an American alligator. The head, back, and tail are dark gray and black. Thick skin covered bony plates. Wide head, a wide rounded snout, sensory pits on the head only, and only top teeth can be seen when the jaws are closed. But an American crocodile, upper and lower teeth can be seen when the jaws are closed, and instead they have a head, back, tail are tan and kind of greenish gray. They have sensory pits all over their body, and they have a narrow head with a long, narrow snout. Guys, when somebody's reading up here, are we talking or are we listening?
Listening.
Thank you. All right, so looking at these, Josiah was talking about the differences in appearances. So what are two big differences we can see right here? Yes.
Well, there's that crocodile is sharp, and the alligator is like a
I don't think we really talked about that in it. Yes, Aubrey.
The first alligator is gray, and the second one.
Oh, so alligators are gray, but crocodiles are green, right? So would this be different types of camouflage, maybe?
Yeah.
Right. Put your hand down for 1 second. So we can say alligators are gray.
Yes. Because an alligator can blend in with the.
And crocodiles are green.
Yeah, rock.
And both are camouflage, right? Anything else we saw? Yes, Carter. Do they live in Haiti? Well, we just learned where they live. Did they say anything about living in Haiti? No. So we know they don't live in Haiti. Yes. Right. So the gray would blend in with gray things, giving you camouflage with maybe trees, branches, logs. What would the green blend in with? Yes, Carter. Yeah, kind of like gray. Yeah. You think these guys would blend into the water pretty well? Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next page. Alligators and crocodiles are carnivores. To catch their prey, they stay perfectly still. When an animal comes near, snap! The animal is grabbed in a split second. Alligators and crocodiles may also swim slowly and quietly to their unaware prey and attack. Young alligators and crocodiles usually feed on small prey such as fish, frogs, and birds, using their powerful jaws and sharp teeth. Larger, older alligators and crocodiles, Jayla, may eat big animals such as raccoons or deer. Often, they grab their prey and hold its nose underwater until the animal drowns. Also, they may leap to catch their prey. They eat by ripping the animal apart and swallowing the pieces whole. Yes, they do eat fish, right? Both eat fish, right?
All alligators eat fish.
Anything else we saw on that page, guys? Did we see if they could go underwater? Yeah. Have we seen whether or not they eat other alligators yet?
And I saw real alligators.
Yeah. Let's see. Have we found out whether they can swim deep yet? Not really. So let's keep reading, right? Alligators and crocodiles are good swimmers and spend most of their time in the water. They use their powerful swishing tails to move forward. They are unable to steer using their tails and back legs. By tucking in all 4 legs, they are able to swim faster. Yes? They can go underwater, right? Yes, Josiah. They are good swimmers. So we're going to write back here. Jalen, could you stay in your seat for me, bud? They are great swimmers. Do we see any other adaptations in here? Not particularly, right? So let's keep going. Janet, can you slide up here, guys, and making sure y'all are listening? And on the land, they crawl, walk, and run. Sometimes they walk with their bodies high off the ground. This is called the high walk. Yes, Carter?
I don't think they fight because they're all by each other.
Yeah. So they don't fight, possibly. They probably live together, right? So let's go ahead and put that here. We learned they live together.
They live like a family.
All right, let's go to the next page. Yes, Eric? Guys?
They can go really, really under the water.
Yeah, they can go deep, right?
Like to eat fish.
Right, we talked about that. So let's listen up for any more adaptations, guys. Alligators and crocodiles are nocturnal. They see well in the dark. They also see far away very well. They cannot see well underwater. Crocodiles and alligators have excellent senses of smell. They also have excellent senses of hearing. They are able to pick up vibrations in the air or water using their ears as well as the shallow nerves on top of their heads. Here's see the little shallow nerves on top, guys?
No.
See the diagram?
I don't want
What's the diagram? Right where I'm pointing, Eric.
right
Yeah.
With the nose.
Yes, Aubrey. They're great hearers, right? They hear really well.
They're good. They're good
Here, let
enough.
me slide around, guys. It's kind of hard to get right.
They're good enough. Really, really good.
Friends, one at a time. I can't hear when everybody's shouting out at once, right? Raise your hands if you have something. Yes, Kyle. They smell really well, right? Bless you, Eric.
Thank you.
There was something I read on this page about, do they hunt during the day or during the night?
During the night.
Yeah, which is called? Alex, what's it called when an animal hunts at night? Hands down, hands down, hands down, guys. I'm talking to Alex. Josiah, hands down. When an animal comes out at night, like a bat, what do you call that? Janet, do you know the answer to this? Then maybe you should be listening, right? What do you call it?
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal. So they are nocturnal. All right, guys. Hands down. We're going to go to the next page. Guys, listen up. Janet, can you come sit over here for me? You guys are having trouble not talking. Sensory pits in their bodies also help detect vibrations in the water. Vibrations alert them to any nearby prey. The thick, bony plates of American alligators and American crocodiles help protect them. Alligators and crocodiles can make roaring, grumbling, and hissing sounds when they are protecting their territory. They will puff out their necks and show that they are ready to fight. During mating season, males and females communicate by making grunts, barks, and low rumbling sounds. Often, they rub snouts, blow bubbles on the water surface, and swim together in circles. Sometimes, they'll make sounds by slapping the surface of the water to attract a mate. They mate underwater. Thank you, Eric. Guys, let's make sure we're paying attention. A few weeks later, after the females lay their eggs in nests, where the eggs will be kept warm and protected, mother alligators and crocodiles are always on the alert, guarding their nests to protect their young from any egg-eating animals such as skunks and raccoons. And then right here, look at this. We've got two different pictures. We've got an alligator, we've got a crocodile. What do you guys notice about the differences in nests with these? Carter, let's put your hand down. You've answered a few times. Riley, what do you see in the difference between the two nests? You need to slide closer and look at it. Kyla, do you notice any differences? Oh, you're right. This one, they made a little nest on top of the ground, right? Guys, eyes forward. And then over here, the crocodiles have burrowed it underground, right? What should I see? Guys, can see. Guys, scoot a little bit closer. Everybody keeps moving away from me. I don't know how you can see the book. Yes. Yes, Gail.
One has 2 layers and one has 1.
Oh, you're right. This has 2 layers and this has 1, right? All right, hands down, guys. We got a little bit more book to read. Usually it takes about 65 days before the alligator and crocodile eggs begin to hatch. Newborns are called hatchlings. Most hatchlings are about 10 inches or 25.4 centimeters long. Within minutes of hatching, their mother takes them to the water. The female alligator and crocodile stay close to the young for about a year. They protect them from harm before the young ones go off on their own. Young alligators and crocodiles grow about 1 foot a year for the first 6 years. As they get older, they grow slower. They continue to grow throughout their entire lives. Alligators and crocodiles use their strong legs, feet, and tails to dig holes in muddy marshlands. The holes fill with water. Other wildlife nearby will also make use of these water holes. So we talked about they have claws, right? What are they using their claws for? What's the alligator using its claws for in this picture? Well, not just prey, but what is it doing in this picture? Yeah, they dig holes with their claws, right? So we can add that to what we learned. All right, guys, we got a couple more pages. Hands down, hands down. American alligators and American crocodiles were hunted for hundreds of years for their meat and skins. Today, it is illegal to hunt them, but humans are still their main enemy. People have developed areas where these large reptiles once lived. There are fewer and fewer places where alligators and crocodiles can live in their natural environment. Wildlife preserves have been created to protect them. Alligators and crocodiles have been around for millions of years. Now they are endangered. The lives of these fascinating creatures should be respected. What is a natural preserve? What is that called? Or excuse me, a wildlife preserve. Have we studied that yet?
No.
A wildlife preserve is an area that is protected so that animals can live there without men or any sort of construction or pollutants affecting them. It's kind of a little safe haven just for these animals. Jalen, can you do me a favor? Can you come sit over here right behind them? All right, so, yes. Well, then we're not going to pay attention to that, are we? All right, and last page, we've got more about alligators and crocodiles. Some ancient Egyptians worshipped Sobek, a god whose head was shaped like that of a crocodile. A crocodile can slam down its jaws using about 13 tons of pressure. Crocodilians live on all the continents except for Antarctica and Europe. In addition to alligators and crocodiles, there are 2 other members of the crocodilian family. Gharials, never seen that before, are found in India and Southeast Asia, and caimans are found in Central America and South America. Scientists believe that alligators and crocodiles can live to be about 70 years old in the wild. And a group of young hatchlings is called a creche. The largest American alligator ever found in the wild was about 19 feet long, and it was found in 1890 in Louisiana. After a large meal, it is possible for an adult alligator or crocodile to go many months without having to eat again. Pretty good book, right? Now, let's look back at our chart. I'm going to walk around this way, guys. Gail, could you sit up for me? Maybe scoot back a little bit. All right, so let's look at what we were wondering. What do alligators and crocodiles look like? Did we find out that?
Yes.
Yeah, we answered that. Do they eat fish? Yeah, we found out they did. Do alligators eat other alligators? Jalen was asking about that. Did we find out about that? No. I'm going to put a circle around that, and we can find that out and come back to that later, right? Maybe we'll Google that later. Are crocodiles cold-blooded? Yeah, because they're reptiles, right? Can alligators and crocodiles swim deep? Yeah, talked about that. How many are in the world? Did we find out about that? Not really, so I'm going to put a circle around that. And do they fight?
Yeah.
They do, but they also live together. So we could say, yes, they do fight, but they also live together too, right? Yeah, I think maybe they fight sometimes, probably when there's not a lot of food, right? Maybe if they're in a really bad mood. Like you and your siblings live together, but you guys fight sometimes? Exactly. Yes, Carter? They stink. I didn't really see that. All right, so we talked about migration. Do they migrate? No, they don't migrate. Do they hibernate? Yeah, some of them hibernate. Mimic. Do they mimic any other animals? No. Camouflage. Yeah, that's a really big one, right? Oh, that's true. I guess you could say with mimicry, they kind of mimic one another, right? All right, guys. All right, going back to your seats. Once you get ready for recess. And when we come back, we're going to talk about our science journal.
I'm going to try this. And Mr. Dumblab. Mr. Dumblab. I'm going to try this.
Give me 1 second, Eric.